While our country is falling apart, listen to what our northern neighbors are up to. This is from Huffington Post. Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau introduced legislation on Thursday that would legalize the recreational use of marijuana next year. The proposed rules would take effect in July 2018 and allow Canadians to grow up to 4 plants in their home or to purchase dried flowers and other cannabis products from licensed shops. People over 18 would be allowed to possess up to 30 grams of weed. Edible products would be allowed later, the government said in a statement. Trudeau promised voters during the 2015 election that his government would end prohibition of pot. If the changes become law, Canada would become the second country after Uruguay to completely legalize cannabis for personal use. Isn't that incredible? It's only Uruguay right now that has completely legalized cannabis for recreational reasons. So in the U.S., we have some states that did it. Colorado, Washington, but that technically doesn't count because federal law still has weed as illegal, and federal law overrides state law under our Constitution. So it's just through the good graces of the government that they have allowed the experimentation of it, and they're starting to crack down on that now with Jeff Sessions as Attorney General. So it's amazing that it's only Uruguay right now, and this is an issue that the world is like, what are we doing? Like, what are we waiting for? This is a duh issue. Now 60% of the American people say we want to legalize it. Well, you go back to 2006, I think. It was just 35%. A tremendous change. I mean, that's incredible. It nearly doubled in a short time span because guess what? The reefer madness nonsense is wearing off. People know, hey, my friend smokes weed. I smoke weed. It's no fucking problem. What are you talking about? You're going to lock somebody up in a cage for using a mild substance that just tweaks your consciousness a little bit? Fuck off. Alcohol's worse than weed. So now 60% of Americans say legalize it. Well, now in Canada, as the world burns here, that would be the U.S. burning. As the U.S. burns and the world burns, Canada's like, yeah, we're just going to legalize weed. We'll be more reasonable than you guys. I mean, what did we learn here yesterday? Donald Trump dropped a near-nuclear bomb. The biggest bomb we have that's not nuclear on Afghanistan. Got like a mile blast radius in every direction. It weighs about 21,000 pounds. They had to drop it out of the back of a cargo plane because you can't use a smaller plane to drop it because it's that big. All to take out ISIS tunnels, maybe. When there's 800 ISIS fighters max in Afghanistan, and they're also currently fighting the Taliban. But we're like, fuck it, weighs 314 million, drop a near-nuclear weapon. We just escalated with North Korea. We might be on the brink of war with North Korea. As Trump's doing that, they're like, yeah, let's increase freedom and liberty, justice, and be reasonable people. So some other facts about this. You can't drive within 2 hours of smoking weed. That's part of the law. And if you sell to minors, it's a 14-year prison sentence. Jeez, that's hefty. So it's, more or less what they're doing is they're saying, let's legalize it, tax it, regulate it, and make it kind of like alcohol, which I file under the duh category. We should have done this a long, long time ago. So the new CIA head, Mike Pompeo, went after WikiLeaks in a speech this week, and he's mad because they're releasing information on how the CIA is now acting like the NSA. And they can spy on people, and they do it through smart TVs, for example. We covered that story. It was a big story a few weeks back. Well, WikiLeaks heard his criticisms, and they decided to hit back. So The Hill breaks it down here. WikiLeaks hit back at CIA Director Mike Pompeo on Thursday after he criticized the website. Pompeo called WikiLeaks a non-state hostile intelligence service that had done great harm to our nation's national security. The site hit back by posting one of Pompeo's now deleted tweets from 2016, citing the group's work publishing leaked documents from the Democratic National Committee. Quote, we need further proof that the fix was in from President Obama on down. Busted 19,252 emails from DNC leaked by WikiLeaks. Pompeo had tweeted. WikiLeaks shared an image of that tweet, adding, tweet sent by CIA Director Mike Pompeo on the 24th July 2016. At an event earlier in the day at the Center for Strategic and International Studies, Pompeo piled hard upon WikiLeaks, comparing the site's head, Julian Assange, to the Wizard of Oz, an unimportant man pulling levers from behind the curtain. Look at how smug they are. Like Mike Pompeo, he's the CIA head, unimportant man, holding the government accountable. and making sure that you know what your tax dollars are doing. Yeah, but unimportant man who like cares about transparency in government and freedom and the Constitution. Unimportant guy who like has principles and values and actually sticks by them and tries to look out for the people. What a dick Pompeo is. Now, furthermore, listen to this. So here's more. This is a full quote from Pompeo. Here's what he said. WikiLeaks is a non-state hostile intelligence service often abetted by state actors like Russia. By the way, still no evidence of that, and WikiLeaks swears up and down that's not true. That, no, we didn't get the DNC email leaks from Russia. Now, do I trust WikiLeaks or the CIA? Well, I don't know. WikiLeaks has never lied to me before. The CIA has lied about literally every single fucking thing that came out of their mouth. Let's continue. We have to recognize that we can no longer allow Assange and his colleagues the latitude to use free speech values against us. Wow. We can't allow them to use free speech values against us. That's kind of the point of free speech. WikiLeaks pretended that America's First Amendment freedoms shield them from justice. They may have believed that, but they are wrong. To give them the space to crush us with misappropriated secrets is a perversion of what our great Constitution stands for. It ends now. It ends now? What does that mean? You're the head of the CIA. What do you mean it ends now? What, are you going to target WikiLeaks and take them down? Is that what you're going to do? Remember, the CIA has a history of torturing, overthrowing foreign governments, and putting in puppets for our corporations. And the democratically elected governments, we say, sorry, you don't serve our interests well enough. So you have the head of the CIA, who's basically threatening WikiLeaks, and literally says, Assange and his colleagues think they have the latitude to use free speech values against us. That is literally what free speech is. Hey, the CIA are assholes. That's like the core of free speech. You are able to criticize the government in a free country. Of course you are. He says the First Amendment. WikiLeaks pretended that America's First Amendment freedoms shield them from justice. No, that is justice. Justice is what they're doing by leaking all this information. Guys, everybody gets it. Are there some things that are legitimate state secrets? No shit. Okay, you're not allowed to leak the nuclear launch codes. Welcome to www.duh.com. You're not allowed to leak the position of our troops on a battlefield during a literal battle. We know. We got it. Which is why nobody's leaked that. But should they leak things that the government wrongly says, hey, this needs to be classified, this needs to be top secret? Of course. That's the trick everybody in power does now. Hey, we don't want to be embarrassed, so we're just going to take anything that's even slightly embarrassing about us and say, classified, top secret. Well, WikiLeaks says, go fuck yourself. We're going to look out for the people. Here's transparency in government. By the way, U.S. taxpayers are funding the CIA. The CIA turns around and spies on us. And they spy on us through smart TVs. The CIA is now acting like their own NSA. The last group of people in the world you want to be able to spy on you are spying on you. And now he says, oh, what, you think you have the free speech to criticize us? Yeah, bitch. Of course they do. How stupid are you? This is a guy, Pompeo, who said, Edward Snowden should be executed. He should be killed. Now he's the head of the CIA. Now he's threatening WikiLeaks. And where are the Democrats on this? I don't hear you. That's right. Because you're so far up your own ass with Russia. Oh, Russia. How dare they maybe not leak DNC emails that people should have seen anyway because it exposed corruption and exposed collusion to try to snub Bernie Sanders and prop up Hillary Clinton. We're so mad that, like, factual information was leaked about our shitty candidate that, it's cool if this guy wants to target WikiLeaks because now we hate WikiLeaks. So now we're in favor of an authoritarian crackdown on an institution that cares about transparency in government, and we're fine with taking away free speech from people we don't like. Beyond pathetic. And now who's there to stand up for WikiLeaks? The right isn't going to stand up for him. They probably love Pompeo. The establishment obviously isn't going to stand up for WikiLeaks. They despise him more than anything. And the Democrats aren't going to stand up for him. We need principled people. So I stand with WikiLeaks, and Pompeo has some fucking nerve, man, if I don't say so myself. How dare you talk about, oh, what, you think you have the First Amendment rights, free speech rights to criticize us? Yeah, we do. You should know that. The fact that you don't is pathetic. You should have never been approved for this position. Jeffrey Lord is an insane far-right lunatic who somehow has become a regular on CNN, and he was discussing healthcare policy with Simone Sanders, and look at what he said.
think we've seen a president, Donald Trump, who, says one thing, does another. We don't know what the president would do. All we can go off of what he is saying. And currently what he's saying is, look, if you don't give me what I want, I'm withholding stuff from everybody. And that is going to actually hurt people. I don't think we can use this inflammatory rhetoric, Allison, when we're dealing with people's lives. People with really serious illnesses, from cancer on down the line. So I think we need to just step back, and the president should take a more humane tone and course of action when talking about this issue.
Jeffrey, what about that? That it
Allison?
does scare people when they hear it. Even if it is just a negotiating tactic, it scares people.
Allison, I want to say something here that I know will probably drive Simone crazy, but think of President Trump as the Martin Luther King of healthcare.
Oh, Jeffrey.
When I was a kid, President Kennedy did not want to introduce the Civil Rights Bill because he said it wasn't popular, he didn't have the votes for it, etc. Dr. King kept putting people in the streets in harm's way to put the pressure on so that the bill would be introduced. That's what
Jeffrey,
finally
you do understand that Dr. King was marching for civil rights because people that look like me were being beaten. Dogs were being sicked on them. Basic human rights were being withheld from these people merely because of the color of their skin. So let's not equate Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., a humanitarian, a Nobel Peace Prize winner, to the vagina-grabbing President Donald Trump.
Okay, that was incredible. I can't believe he really said that. His argument, for those of you who didn't follow, and you can be forgiven for not following it because it's mental, he said, his point is, Donald Trump is the Martin Luther King of healthcare because, think about it, Martin Luther King was fighting for civil rights even when they were massively unpopular. So here Donald Trump is fighting for his healthcare bill even though it's massively unpopular. So MLK fought, Donald Trump is fighting now. Seems similar enough to me. That's like, okay, you want to play this game? Let's play this game. Hitler enjoyed ham sandwiches. I heard Donald Trump enjoys the occasional ham sandwich. Sounds similar enough to me. That's just a stupid argument. It's like, okay, they're fighting. What are they fighting for, Jeffrey? MLK was fighting for equality for everybody, justice. Donald Trump is fighting for a healthcare proposal that kicks millions of people off their insurance. That's literal. That's not me speaking. That's the nonpartisan CBO speaking. Remember, we covered the facts of Trump Care. $880 billion cut to Medicaid. So many people will die as a result of that because you're taking away the Medicaid expansion. There's already 17,000 people that die because there are some Republican governors who didn't accept the Medicaid expansion. That number would go up. Yes, Trump's healthcare idea would lead to more deaths. You have a $600 billion tax cut to the super rich. That's also part of the bill. 53 million people would be uninsured. So it goes from 10% to 19%, the uninsured rate. This is like a joke of a bill. It's just an absolute sledgehammer to the heart of the American healthcare system, which is already terrible. And he's comparing Donald Trump to MLK. By the way, what's even more hilarious is, like I said, he's saying he fought, he fights. They fight. They're like the same thing. Again, well, what are they fighting for? Well, what did MLK have to say about this exact issue, healthcare? He said inequality in healthcare is the worst form of it. This is a guy who was in favor of a single-payer system. This is a guy who also, by the way, called the U.S. government the worst purveyor of violence in the world today. This is a guy who was killed when he was fighting for workers' rights. He was fighting for economic justice. He was protesting with unions to get, better wages and better working standards, higher quality of life for average people. Donald Trump stands in stark opposition to all of that. But he fought. What are we going to do? It is what it is. So what? They're like the same thing. They both believe in fighting. I don't know if you guys know this, but MLK, known to rip a fart every now and then. Donald Trump, he's a gassy dude. What do you want me to say? Similar enough. He's like that. They're like totally the same. That's what it is. I don't know. Okay, CNN can have on whoever the fuck they want to have on, but let's be crystal clear. This guy's an idiot, and he's dumbing down the conversation. And he's part and parcel of the problem with false equivalence, fake neutrality. This idea of everything is debatable, let's have on both sides. Here's a guy who says evolution is true. Here's a guy who says creationism is true. Who are we to say? You decide. Aren't we so neutral? Hey, climate change, is it happening? Is it not happening? Here's Bill Nye talking about it. He's a science guy. And here's Congresswoman Marsha Blackburn, who's taken tremendous amounts of money from the oil and gas industry. Who you decide who is right? We don't know. We are CNN. Aren't we so neutral? Yeah, but there's a difference between being neutral, which is the bullshit you're doing right now, and being objective. Objective means telling the truth no matter what. Neutral means always calling it 50-50. Well, guess what? What happens when the answer is not 50-50? What happens when, there's a right and a wrong? You want to have somebody on to debate Trump's first military raid when it killed 30 civilians, including an 8-year-old American girl? Who was right? Here's the person who says it was bad to kill an 8-year-old American girl. Here's a person who says it was good. Your neutrality approach is garbage. Garbage. And this is another example of it. Lauren Steiner is an activist and organizer in LA, and she's fighting for single-payer healthcare. So she's working with many activists in California to get this done. So one of them asked Representative Linda Sanchez from California if she supports John Conyers' Medicare for All bill, and she's asking this question here on Lauren Steiner's behalf. So let's see how she reacted.
Okay, I think we have another question right here.
Hi, I'm Helen Gaskins. I'm a respiratory practitioner, and I want to ask you what you are going to do for the people of the United States to get a single-payer health care. Every night when I would work the ER, people die every day from lack of health care, or if they have health care, they can't afford the copay to see their doctors. So the ER becomes their only line to health care. Also, they can't afford their medications. We get a lot of emergencies and deaths from, we've had children die from not having inhalers at their schools. We've had children die in our ER because the parents couldn't afford the copay to take them to the doctor. What are you going to do to get us Medicare for all?
Did you come in late by any chance?
No.
I think the first question on the sheet was about single payer. So I tried to explain that was something I advocated for when we passed the Affordable Care Act, and we weren't successful in getting single payer into ACA. But we continue to advocate for that, and right now we don't have a majority in the Congress that is going to allow us to get to single payer. Because right now we've been focused on just trying to defend the ACA as it exists right now.
Right.
The ACA was intended to actually try to lower costs because the problem was
it doesn't help.
Please don't interrupt me. Okay. I'll allow you to speak after I finish speaking. The reason we passed the ACA in the first place was because costs kept climbing double-digit year over year. And people were accessing health care at the most expensive point of entry, which was the emergency room. Because they didn't have coverage, they were waiting until their problem became so critical that they had to access the emergency room for care. ACA has been a great step towards helping improve that. It hasn't exactly eliminated all folks that are not covered, and some people choose not to be covered. We are moving in that direction, but we are not in a Congress right now where we can pass single payer. I share your beliefs that by cutting out the middle people, you bring down costs, and that putting insurance companies and CEOs in between a patient and their health care just increases costs. So I'm in agreement with you, but unfortunately we're not in a place right now where we can get that done in this Congress.
Okay. Well, the people I'm talking to on Facebook right now, they want to know if you will be a co-sponsor for Kanye's bill HR 676 with all the other liberal Congress people.
I will look at the bill, but again, it's not a bill that's going to move in this Congress. We are working our hardest to try to defend what exists with the ACA right now.
Okay, well, according to Laura Steiner,
I think we got to get
okay. Well, the majority of the California congressional people are co-sponsoring it. We'd like you to come on board. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. We have a question.
I'm glad that you're supporting Social Security, the cap on Social Security. That's awesome. Good to hear that. Also, thank you for standing firm with the Affordable Care Act. Okay. However, I'm a little disappointed that you're not coming out and just supporting that 675 for single payer. Just to follow up on that. That's part of the question.
Yay!
I don't want you to get the misimpression that I don't support single payer. I am merely saying that it's impossible to get it done done in this
I
Congress.
know, I realize that, but we gotta stand strong. Even like, I mean.
Yay! Yay! Healthcare for all! Healthcare for all!
I would just say that you have to pick and choose your battles.
Oh, no.
And right now, defending the Affordable Care Act and making sure that they don't repeal that, that's my priority. I'm sorry, but
No.
This is the exact kind of mindset that Justice Democrats is fighting against. So what you have here is a Democrat saying, well, I mean, look, the Affordable Care Act, Obamacare, I mean, it is better than what we had before, right? I mean, we got to defend it against these Republicans, right? That's easy. That's easy. So they come out with goofy Trump care. And what did we learn about that? Oh, I don't know. It guts $880 billion from Medicaid, and it's a $600 billion tax cut to the very rich. And it leaves 52 million people uninsured. So it is a sledgehammer to our already disastrous healthcare system in the U.S. Defending against that is a no-brainer. And guess what? Mission accomplished. Done. Over. It's dead. It's not coming back. It ain't going to be revived. But the hallmark of a corporate Democrat is say, take your incremental change and www.zipit.com. But hold on now, Representative Sanchez. Well, do you not understand that 45,000 people still die every year because they don't have access to basic care? Do you not understand that millions of people are still uninsured? Do you not understand that even though the cost of your premiums, the increase in your premiums, even though it's slowed down, people still have premiums that they can't afford? Do you not understand this? Do you not understand that medical bills is still one of the top causes of bankruptcy in the country? Canada doesn't have, medical bankruptcies are not a thing in Canada. They're not a thing in France or Germany or Norway or Denmark or Iceland or Sweden or Australia. So your argument is, it gets you hard. Look, my arm is twisted. Look, see? Oh, the Republicans, they twisted my arm. What am I going to do? Well, it's impossible. We're not going to get it through this Congress. You silly far-left dreamer purist. We're not going to get single payer through this Congress, so why even try? Because it's your job. That's why. Why are you not fighting? Why don't you go out there? Did you know Donald Trump, the president, has on at least 5 different occasions, we've given you the quotes before. He said, yeah, I support single payer. I want to do a system just like Canada. He said, yeah, Scotland has a tremendous healthcare system. My buddy went in there, got it fixed, and it didn't cost him a penny. We could have that here. We could have that here. He's countless times, he's came out in favor of single payer. Why are you not taking his quotes, going to Congress, giving a speech where you say what he said, and you say, I call on President Donald Trump to support a Medicare for all bill. We've proposed it. You want to do healthcare reform? You want to make America great again and have us catch up to the rest of the modern world? Sign on to our bill. Why are you and all the Democrats not getting on that page, just like Representative Ro Khanna did? Hey, here's a quote from Trump. He supports single payer. I call on Trump to work with Bernie Sanders to get single payer. Guess what? She would say, we're not going to win that fight. But if you have the fight, maybe you don't win in terms of policy right now. But you can win policy later on, and you will win on politics right now. Because then people go, well, look at that. You got Democrats who are actually fighting for the people. Maybe we should actually go out to the polls and vote for them. Like, what do you think? It's hard. We can't have another. I'm sick of hearing this garbage. This is what we heard after Sandy Hook, where children were slaughtered. 93% of the American people said, this is crazy. We need universal background checks. A majority of Republicans even, and a majority of NRA members. What did the Democrats do? They proposed a bill, watered it down more, and then said to the Republicans, could we have like 2% change? Here's the Manchin Toomey background check bill. It's riddled with loopholes. It's not even a universal background check bill. Mitch McConnell blocked it, laughed about it on Twitter, and then what did the Democrats do? They went home with their tail between their legs. We can never fight on anything. They won't let us win. Why are you not using that as an opportunity? Go on all the Sunday shows. Go give speeches. Scream through a megaphone at the top of a mountain. Look at these fascist, authoritarian Republicans who don't agree with 93% of the American people. How do you not know how to fight and win on an issue when 93% of people are with you? I would hammer that fact home so much that we would get a supermajority in the next election and we would get whatever we want. But what do? Just single payer. It's so hard to make the U.S. catch up to every other modern nation. We're just going to have to accept that 45,000 people die every year because they don't have access to basic care. What are we going to do? Obamacare is as good as we can do. Obamacare is Romney care. Obamacare was originally a similar plan, was proposed by Richard Nixon. Congratulations, Representative Sanchez. You're as progressive as Richard Nixon. He came up with an individual mandate system. Bob Dole supported one. Mitt Romney in Massachusetts. Newt Gingrich and Chuck Grassley supported it in the 90s. The Heritage Foundation wrote policy papers about it, saying that this is our answer to the Democrats' idea, which is single payer. You're gonna be in favor of a bill that Newt Gingrich supports, and you want Democrats to get up off their ass to go vote for you? Shame on you. Shame on you. Support this bill. It's not even like we're asking you to write the bill and propose the legislation. John Conyers already proposed Medicare for all. You know what you have to do? Here, see this? Sign your fucking name in favor of it. Co-sponsor the bill. That's it. That's all we're asking. Hey, the Democrats, you can't agree on a policy of Medicare for all, single payer, when every other modern nation has it. Guys, when we started, so we're doing justicedemocrats.com/single payer. We're doing a petition to make the Democrats support this. When we started this, 72 Democrats were in favor of this bill. Over 100 weren't. Now we have, over 80 Democrats supporting this. And it's chipping away. They fall on a daily basis. We've had representatives call Justice Democrats and go, you got us. Look, we got too many phone calls. What am I going to do? I got a phone call every 5 seconds into my office saying, you have to support the bill or we're going to vote you out. When they see the petition, when they see the grassroots pressure, they have to respond because guess what? When push comes to shove, she cares about her job. She likes her job. She wants to have her job again. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to call her. Be polite, be kind, but make crystal clear, especially if you're in her district. Okay, I think this is the 38th district in California. You say, Representative Sanchez, if you don't support John Conyers' bill, Medicare for All, HR 676, we're going to vote you out. We're going to vote you out. So I just want to let you know that. This is a layup issue. This is a duh issue. It's a duh. Every modern nation has single payer, one version or another. We have the supposedly liberal party going, yeah, it's too hard. Yeah, I support it, but I don't support it. So when it's a little bit hard, when it's impractical, then I'm not in favor of the right policy. What does that even mean? Because we're not going to get it, because it's impractical, I can't be in favor of the correct thing. Well, you know what else was impractical, Representative Sanchez? I don't know. Women's suffrage? The civil rights movement? You think in 1958 in Mississippi, if people took your approach, come on, we're never going to desegregate. We're segregated now. It's impossible to desegregate. What are you talking about? Pie in the sky, purist? No. Lay down in a chalk outline of yourself. Don't fight. No, people got up and they fought for the right policy because they said what's right is right. Martin Luther King Jr., the time is always right to do what's right. That's what he said. What do you say? The time is not always right to do what's right. Even if I agree with single payer like you say you do, but reason stuff thing, I can't be in favor of it now because I don't know, Republicans exist. What am I going to do? What am I going to do? You're a joke, Representative Sanchez. You're a joke. You don't support single payer. You know how you could prove you support single payer? By supporting single payer. By saying, I agree with single payer, Medicare for all. John Conyers' bill. Of course I agree, but you're not. So we're going to make you. Guys, the number is 202-225-6676. Be polite. Be nice. But just make clear, especially if you're in her district. Hey, we're not going to support you if you don't support this bill. This bill is a no-brainer. It is a no-brainer.